Welcome to the deep dive. You've flagged some really important stuff for us today, an article looking at key strategies for tackling AI trading fraud in 2025. Our mission here is basically to get right to the heart of this, pull out the essential info and, the approaches that will help you navigate this evolving threat.
Yeah, and what jumps out immediately is this kind of duality we're facing.
Yeah.
AI offers incredible potential in finance. That's
Yeah.
clear. But as the article shows, it's very much a double-edged sword. It's also opening up these new, pretty intricate pathways for fraud.
Exactly. It's like this super powerful tool. It can build amazing things, but in the wrong hands, yeah, it can cause real harm. And the article really stresses that understanding this and proactively fighting back against AI fraud is just critical now, especially for investors.
Precisely. And just so we're all starting on the same page, let's define AI trading fraud.
Hmm.
The article breaks it down as deceptive practices using sophisticated software, either directly, to do the fraud or just a bait to commit investment fraud.
Right. And it's important, this isn't just bad investments, it's deliberate deception. A key part is misrepresentation, right? Really playing on the buzz, the sort of perceived complexity of AI to trick people.
Exactly. It preys on that lure of cutting-edge tech, promising, amazing returns with minimal risk. So in this deep dive, we'll hit several key areas from the article. We'll look at what this fraud actually is, why it's growing, the common tactics, and crucially, proactive strategies for 2025. Okay, maybe let's start by digging into this evolving landscape. What does this fraud actually look like? Well, at its core, like the article says, it's misrepresentation. Mostly falsely claiming they're using advanced algorithms, machine learning, complex AI to get exceptional, and this is key, low-risk returns. Often the AI part is way overblown or might not even be real, it's just the hook.
So the appeal is this super smart tech doing all the work, great results, no downside. Sounds tempting, but yeah, a massive warning sign.
Huge one. And the deception goes further. What's really striking now is the use of generative AI. The AI that makes realistic text and images. Scammers are using it to create incredibly convincing fake materials.
You mean like fake websites that look totally legit?
Exactly. Realistic sites, persuasive marketing stuff, even fake performance reports that look completely professional. And here's where it gets really interesting. The article mentions deep fake videos with fake endorsements. Imagine seeing someone you trust seemingly backing something fraudulent.
Deep fakes.
Uh.
Wow, so you can see a video looks and sounds exactly like a famous investor or CEO pushing a scam. That's pretty alarming.
It really is. The article gives a scenario. A deep fake of a CEO falsely announcing some big partnership to pump up a worthless stock. That's incredibly powerful, incredibly believable manipulation. Makes you question what you see online.
Yeah, that really brings the danger home. It's not just a dodgy website anymore, it's creating fake realities. What else is changing?
The article also points to using smart tech for really precise targeting. Analyzing data, scammers can profile potential victims with, frankly, scary accuracy. Then they tailor phishing attacks, social engineering. It's much more effective. It's like using AI to find weak spots.
So it's not just a generic spam email anymore. It feels personal, relevant, makes it much harder to ignore.
Precisely. And then there's this emerging worry about algorithm-powered market manipulation, using AI to spread fake news fast or sway market sentiment, potentially hitting legitimate securities too. Think AI spreading rumors to cause a sell-off.
So not just individual scams, but potentially broader market impacts.
Exactly. And the article calls these scams insidious, which feels right.
Yeah.
The tech itself can be intimidating, making people maybe trust these sophisticated claims without really getting it.
It's like they rely on people feeling overwhelmed by the tech buzzwords and just accepting the promises. Okay, so given all that, why is this getting worse right now? What's driving this increase?
Well, the article flags a few big things. First, this intelligent tech gold rush. There's just so much hype around AI. Investors are eager to get in on the next big thing. And sometimes that excitement means people lower their guard, don't do the usual checks. Bad actors are great at exploiting that kind of frenzy. We've seen it before with other tech waves.
Yeah, it feels like the dot-com boom or the crypto craze, lots of hype means lots of opportunity for scammers.
Precisely. The article also highlights how much more accessible these sophisticated tools are now. Powerful software, including those generative AI models we mentioned, they're easier to use, more available. It lowers the bar for scammers to create fake stuff and automate their schemes. They don't need to be elite coders anymore.
That's worrying.
Yeah.
These powerful tools in the wrong hands.
Absolutely. And that feeds into the sophistication of deception, as the article calls it. Scammers can now make these highly personalized, very convincing hoaxes much harder to spot than old school fraud. Realistic websites, tailored marketing, it looks much more legit.
It's like they're constantly upgrading their scam tech, making it harder to tell real from fake.
Exactly. Then there's the anonymity in scale. Scammers can operate from anywhere, target huge numbers of people across borders pretty anonymously. Makes it really tough for law enforcement to track them.
The internet always offered some anonymity, but AI seems to turbocharge that.
It really does. And finally, the complexity of machine learning itself acts as a sort of shield. It's hard for non-experts to verify the claims or really understand the tech or the lack of it. That complexity can be used deliberately to mislead, like using jargon to hide the truth.
So it's this perfect storm. Hype, easy tools, better deception, and the tech's complexity all feeding this rise in AI trading fraud. Okay, let's get specific. What are some common tactics scammers are actually using right now?
The article lists several key ones. A big one is fake algorithmic trading platforms. These are slick websites, look really professional, promoting supposedly proprietary AI systems. They promise impossible returns, guaranteed profits, minimal risk, and a huge red flag. They're often not registered with financial regulators.
So a convincing storefront, lots of AI buzzwords, but basically empty promises, fake profits.
Exactly. And like we touched on, deepfake endorsements are a major worry. That CEO deepfake example really drives it home. Using a trusted face to push a worthless, maybe non-existent investment makes you question everything you see.
It's like digital camouflage, hiding behind someone else's reputation.
Well put. Another tactic, impersonation scams. They're using AI-generated scripts, even voice cloning, to pretend to be legitimate financial advisors, brokers, people from real firms. They reach out on social media, email, messaging apps, sometimes even woven into relationship scams.
That's really nasty, exploiting personal trust in the names of established companies.
It is. The article also covers phishing and data harvesting, but with an AI twist. Using smart automation for highly personalized phishing emails or messages designed to steal your logins for real financial accounts, they're way more effective because they seem so targeted.
Because they have more specific info about you, maybe? Makes the email seem much more real?
Exactly. Then, misleading marketing materials. Using AI to whip up impressive but totally fake performance reports, white papers, testimonials, all for products or funds, claiming AI magic that just isn't there. It's AI creating a fantasy of success.
So all the proof looks solid, but it's completely made up.
Correct. And finally, pressure tactics. Combining this AI outreach with old-school high-pressure sales, urging quick decisions, limited-time offers powered by smart technology. Playing right into FOMO, the fear of missing out.
A nasty mix of new tech and old tricks. Okay, we see the problem, the tactics. Now, how do we fight back? What are the proactive strategies for 2025? The article breaks this down too.
It does. First big area, enhancing due diligence. The article really hammers home that the basics of checking investments are still crucial, maybe even more crucial with fancy tech involved. The mantra is verify, then trust. Don't just accept claims, especially unsolicited offers. With AI, be extra skeptical of anything too technical or promising the impossible.
Seems like common sense, but it's easy to get swept up, especially with AI hype. Makes you wonder if the complexity is part of the plan to bypass that skepticism.
Absolutely. And a non-negotiable. Check registration status. Use resources like the SEC's IAPD or FANARI's broker check. Verify the advisors, the firms. Like the article says, no registration is a massive red flag. It's basic accountability.
If they aren't registered, stop right there, basically. Or at least proceed with extreme caution.
Definitely. The article also says scrutinize promises, especially guarantees of amazing high returns or weirdly low risk from sophisticated software. Real investments have risk, guaranteed outcomes, particularly linked to complex AI. Be super skeptical. Why would a real breakthrough need zero risk?
If it sounds too good to be true, it still is, no matter how smart the AI supposedly is.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to question the secret sauce. Okay, companies protect their IP, but if they're super vague or evasive about how their tech basically works, that's concerning. You should grasp the core strategy, even if the AI details are complex. If they can't explain the logic clearly, that's a problem.
If they can't explain it simply, maybe I don't want you to understand, or there's no sauce there at all.
Precisely. And finally, on due diligence, look beyond the website. Scammers make great websites. You need to actively look for physical addresses, official filings, independent reviews, company history. If that info is thin, inconsistent, or just missing, be very wary. Verify their real-world footprint.
So do that extra digging. Don't just trust the shiny online veneer. Okay, the article also talks about leveraging technology for prevention, fighting fire with fire, essentially. What's involved there?
Right. This means using intelligent fraud detection software. These tools look for anomalies, weird transactions, unusual user behavior, strained communication patterns, things that hint at fraud. Machine learning can spot subtle stuff traditional systems might miss, like a smart security camera for finances.
Using AI to spot the signs of AI fraud makes sense.
Absolutely. Advanced authentication is also key, using multi-factor authentication, MFA, biometrics like fingerprints or Face ID, even behavioral biometrics, how you type or move your mouse to lock down accounts. These layers make it way harder for scammers, even if they steal basic credentials.
Makes it much tougher for them to get in, even with stolen passwords.
Exactly. The article also mentions exploring deepfake detection technology, tools to spot manipulated videos, like those fake endorsements. This tech is still developing, but it's becoming more important, kind of like a digital lie detector for video.
Sounds like a tech arms race, really.
It really is. And maintaining strong cybersecurity infrastructure is still fundamental. Good endpoint protection on your devices, network monitoring, regular checks for weaknesses. The basic defenses are crucial.
So basic online security hygiene is still vital, even against these advanced threats.
Absolutely. And lastly here, using data analytics for threat intelligence. Basically, using machine learning to sift through threat data and spot emerging AI fraud tactics proactively. It helps you anticipate and adapt your defenses, using data to see what's coming next.
Staying ahead by using the same kind of analysis the fraudsters use, but defensively. Okay, shifting slightly, the article stresses the critical role of human oversight and education. Why is the human element still so important in this tech fight?
Because tech isn't foolproof. Investor education is fundamental. Learning about the risks, the common scams, the red flags, that's a powerful first defense. Resources from regulators like the SEC are great for this. An informed investor is just a harder target.
Yeah, much less likely to fall for these sophisticated tricks if you know what to look for.
Exactly. And similarly, internal training for people inside financial firms, especially client-facing staff, compliance teams is vital. They need to recognize the signs of AI scams, sophisticated social engineering, fake documents. They're like a human sensor network.
They're the front line within the organization.
Absolutely. The article also hits on critical thinking. No financial decision should ever be based just on AI claims or slick marketing. You need independent research. Understand the investment. Don't just buy in because they say intelligent algorithms. Understand the logic, the risks.
Keep that healthy skepticism. Always do your homework.
Exactly. And that leads to the human firewall idea, empowering everyone, employees, customers, to question, verify, and report suspicious stuff internally and to authority. It's a crucial part of the whole defense. Everyone plays a role.
Everyone becomes a potential tripwire. The article also covers the regulatory landscape and compliance. What are the key points for regulators and institutions?
Well, staying constantly updated on guidance from the SEC, HEMFAR, international bodies about AI and finance and fraud prevention is essential. Regulators are definitely focusing more on this. The rules are evolving fast.
So the rule book is still being written, basically. Got to keep up.
Precisely. Institutions also need robust compliance frameworks that specifically address AI fraud risks. That means enhanced due diligence, updated internal controls for these new threats. It has to be part of their core risk management.
Woven right into how they operate.
Absolutely. And having incident response planning specifically for AI-driven fraud attempts is crucial too. Knowing exactly what to do quickly and effectively if you are targeted. Preparation minimizes damage.
Having a playbook ready is key for a fast response.
It is. And finally, the article really pushes for collaboration and information sharing across the industry on AI fraud threats, sharing insights on new tactics, successful attacks. It strengthens everyone's defenses. A united front works better.
Makes sense. Sharing intel creates a stronger collective shield. Now, the article had that case study spotlight on the deepfake dilemma. What were the key takeaways from that scenario?
Right. The scenario was a convincing deepfake video of a famous tech CEO endorsing a crypto platform with guaranteed high returns, spread rapidly via social media and email. The lessons are pretty stark. First, verification is crucial. Even seemingly real video endorsements, especially for risky or unregistered investments, need independent checking. Don't just trust your eyes and ears. Second, source matters. Be incredibly cautious with unsolicited investment advice, no matter how credible the source seems. And finally, unrealistic returns. Red flag. Guaranteed high returns are always a massive warning sign, regardless of the tech claims. Too good to be true. It is.
Really drives home that need for skepticism and checking things yourself, no matter how slick the presentation. Okay, finally, looking ahead, what's the future outlook? What's coming down the pike in this fight?
Well, the outlook suggests it's going to remain a tough challenge, likely intensifying. Except increased sophistication. Scams will get even more personalized, more convincing, harder to spot as AI evolves. Fraudsters will definitely use the latest, most powerful systems.
So, no room for complacency. The threats will just keep getting smarter.
Exactly. We should also expect novel attack vectors. New ways fraudsters exploit AI may be targeting smart contracts, DeFi platforms, or using AI for more complex market manipulation. The attack surface will probably widen.
The threat landscape will keep changing.
Precisely. The article also notes regulatory catch-up will continue. Regulators globally will keep adapting, bringing in new rules for AI misuse in finance. The legal framework has to keep pace with the tech.
Yeah, the law needs to evolve alongside the technology.
It does indeed. And finally, there's a point about pushing for ethical technology development. Building security and safeguards in from the start, that's going to be increasingly important long-term, trying to mitigate misuse potential.
So, not just catching the bad guys, but trying to build better, safer AI from the ground up.
Wow, this has been a really insightful dive into a complex, fast-moving area. To wrap up, what are the absolute key takeaways for our listener? I think the main thing is AI in finance is both a huge opportunity and a significant growing fraud risk. The sophistication is increasing, and that demands a proactive, multi-layered defense. For you, the listener, understanding and using these strategies, due diligence, skepticism, checking registration, questioning promises, is absolutely vital to protect your assets and make smart choices. Vigilance is key.
Absolutely. Stay vigilant, stay critical, and remember that old rule still applies, maybe more than ever. If it sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is.
Indeed. And maybe a final thought to leave people with. As this AI deception gets even better, even harder to spot, what does that mean long-term for trust and security in finance? How do we all, individuals, institutions, need to keep adapting? And what role should ethics play in how we build and use AI in finance going forward? It's a big question to ponder.
Definitely something significant to think about. Well, this deep dive, based on that excellent article you brought, gives us a really solid foundation for staying informed and vigilant in this critical fight against AI trading fraud. Thanks so much for breaking it all down.